1873, Arizona. A man in his 50s named Jake Lonergan wakes up in the red sands of the desert with a severe headache, amnesia, a wound in his stomach, and an unknown metal bracelet on his arm that looks like shackles. Next to him in the sand, he discovers a photograph of a woman unknown to him. The hero's first meeting with people ends badly for them, after which our wanderer goes to the nearest town. Having rushed there, our hero is helped to cope with a wound in his stomach by a local priest. While undergoing a medical procedure, the hero witnesses a disturbance caused by Percy, the spoiled son of local businessman Colonel Dollar Hyde. Because of these antics, the local sheriff takes the boy to jail. At this time, a strange thing happens in the pasture. After an incomprehensible explosion, which was witnessed by one of the shepherds, all of Dollar Hyde's cattle and 2 more shepherds die. At the bar, a girl named Ella approaches our hero. She asks him about the strange bracelet on his hand and realizes that he doesn't remember anything. Their conversation is interrupted by the sheriff and his men who entered the bar. He has come to arrest Jake, as he is a wanted dangerous criminal. Jake is arrested with the help of Ella, who at the end of the fight hit him on the head with a bottle. After losing consciousness, Jake sees a house in the desert, a girl, gold, strange-looking people, and some unknown creature. In the field where the cattle were killed, Colonel Dollar Hyde interrogates the surviving shepherd about what happened to his cattle. Not believing what he heard, the colonel releases the horse to which the shepherd is tied by the leg. Meanwhile, the colonel's assistant has arrived and tells him 2 pieces of news. His son is behind bars, and Jake Lonergan has returned to the city. The angry old man jumps on his horse and rides off to deal with this mess. At the police station, the sheriff tells Jake that he will send him to the federal marshal, puts him in a carriage with Percy, and shackles them together. At this time, Dollar Hyde rode there with his men and demanded that the sheriff give him Jake, since he had robbed a cart of gold. But everyone's attention is caught by strange flashes of fire in the distance. But a moment later, they themselves were attacked by unknown aircraft. Suddenly, Jake realizes that his bracelet has begun to glow and move. So, the bracelet is an unknown and powerful weapon, and with the help of it, the hero manages to free himself from the cart. Many have already died. Some are taken away by the aliens using metal tongs. Jake shoots down one device. The attack stops. Everyone approaches the plane. But at this time, in one of the houses, the creature kills a man and runs away. Dollar Hyde's assistant shows everyone the creature's trail, and people decide to follow the trail in the morning to save all the people who were stolen by the aliens. However, Jake decides to go alone, and on the morning of the journey, he noticed that Ella was following him. When he threw her off her horse and demanded to know why she needed him, Ella replied that the aliens had taken her people too, and that she wanted Jake to help her find them, to which Jake advised her to stay away from him. After some time on the road, Jake finds himself in the very house that popped up in his memory, and suddenly he began to remember that his beloved girl lived here. The memory came back to the day when the aliens took her away, breaking through the roofs, and the gold coin strangely disappeared with her. After visiting the house, Jake decides to join the people who went in search of their missing relatives. It started to rain at night, and while looking for accommodation for the night, their group discovers a huge overturned river ferry in the middle of the desert. They have no choice and stay there overnight. However, they are not alone there. One alien kills several people, but he was wounded and escaped. Now people can again follow in the footsteps of the alien in search of the abducted. In the morning, they bury the priest who was killed by the creature at night and move on. Along the way, they find traces of that alien, from which they understand that he is losing his strength. They rush to the nearest canyon, into which the tracks lead. Once there, they are ambushed by some bandits. When one of the criminals gets closer, he recognizes Jake. Jake realizes that he used to be the leader of this gang, and begins to pretend that he remembers everything. The bandits take Jake and the people to their camp, but it turns out that another guy has already taken the place of the gang leader. This guy accuses Jake of stealing all their loot and leaving the gang for a girl. Therefore, the bandits beat Jake and ordered Ella to be killed, but Jake still makes up his mind and, with the help of his bracelet, kills the guy who imagines himself to be the leader. Having disarmed the gang, Jake and the people try to hide from the gang, but the gang starts chasing them. During the chase, aliens overtake all these people and begin to fire at them. Jake and Ella try to escape, but the creatures kidnap Ella. Jake does not intend to give up and manages to jump onto the alien ship that stole Ella. And again, with the help of his bracelet, he blows up the ship and they fall into the lake. When they got out of the water, suddenly an alien also came out of the water and injured Ella. Jake quickly reacted and killed the alien. Realizing that Ella's wound is serious, he takes her in his arms and goes to look for help. When Dollar Hyde and the people find him, the doctor realizes that Ella is dead, and at that moment, they are surrounded by a local tribe of Indians and everyone is taken prisoner. Once in the tribe, they are forcibly detained, and Ella's body is thrown into the fire. Dollar Hyde's assistant is Indian and knows their language. He translates the words of the tribal leader. that some demons attacked the Chiricahua tribe and stole many of their people. The Indians accuse white people of being responsible for the appearance of demons, but the intensity of mutual aggression suddenly stops due to a strange event. Something flares up in the fire, and suddenly a naked Ella comes out of it. Jake covers her with a blanket, and Ella reveals that she's actually from another planet and came to Earth because these aliens destroyed all her people. She took on the form of a human so as not to scare people. She wants to help people destroy monsters because otherwise humanity will face the same fate as her people. She also reports that the aliens need gold from the Earth and these are only scouts. If you let them fly away, then the Earth is doomed. She also says that Jake can defeat them if he remembers something. The Indian chief says he can help Jake with his memories. So Jake, with the help of the Indians, remembers that he himself was also abducted by aliens, that his girlfriend was killed by an alien before his eyes. But when the creature approached Jake himself, he was able to escape, injuring the alien and taking that same bracelet. But most importantly, Jake remembered where their ship was. So, Jake takes his people along with the Chiricahua tribe to the place he remembered, and there really is a strange structure there. There is no doubt the aliens are here. This is their ship, which means all the abducted people are here. The next question is what they should do to be able to save their people. While inspecting the approaches to the ship, 2 scouts arrive, and the people saw where their ships were hiding. It begins to seem to everyone that there is no safe approach to the ship because flying mechanisms cover the approaches to the ships, but Jake also remembered that there is another entrance to the ship. Now the plan is clear. You need to distract the aliens in front of the ship so that Jake can get onto the ship through another entrance. But the next problem is the lack of people. While everyone was thinking about solving this problem, Jake jumped on his horse and rode off. Everyone thought he just ran away, but Jake figured out where to get more people to help. He rode to his former gang and without lying, promised them a lot of gold after they helped get it. The gang agrees. Meanwhile, Colonel Dollarhide argues with the Indian chief about a plan to free the people. Somehow he manages to convince the leader to trust him, and at this moment, Jake returns with people, which means things are not so bad. The night before the attack, everyone rests and gains strength. Aside from the fire, Jake approaches Ella, and she tells him that she won't be in this world for long, but Jake kisses her in response. So, morning comes, everyone takes their positions. Jake and a small group of men sneak up to the ship, throw explosives into the mine with the ships, and an explosion occurs. The goal is achieved. The aliens begin to run out. People engage in battle with the creatures. Now is the best time to enter the ship from another entrance, and Jake and Ella do not miss this opportunity. People suffer losses, but soon they manage to improve the situation a little. Meanwhile, Jake and Ella are already inside the ship. They find almost all the people standing in one place and looking strange. Ella tells Jake that the strange light on the ceiling makes people like this and that he shouldn't look at it, but Jake doesn't listen to her and also turns into practically a zombie. Ella has no choice but to destroy this glow, which she does very well. Then they begin to free people, disconnecting the vile wires from them, but they hear that the aliens are coming towards them. Jake leaves Ella and heads towards the creatures. He uses his bracelet to kill anyone who gets close. At this time, Ella directs all the freed people to the exit, and after that she goes to Jake. By this time, he had already dealt with all the aliens. They head towards the center of the ship to destroy it once and for all. Ella knows how to do it. You need Jake's bracelet. She kisses him and the bracelet falls from Lonergan's hand. She takes the bracelet and runs to the center of the ship. The first one crawls into the tunnel leading to the center and says goodbye to Jake. The door closes behind her. Immediately another creature starts shooting at Jake. He has to retreat. Meanwhile, there is an active battle in front of the ship. People and aliens are dying. At some point, the boy gives a signal to the colonel that he sees freed people. The colonel asks if Jake and Ella are among them, to which the boy replies no. Dollarhide realizes that they need help and rushes towards them. Meanwhile, Ella is getting closer to the ship's reactor. Jake, in search of a way out, finds the very laboratory where the aliens killed his wife and tried to kill him. Suddenly, a creature appears from behind and chains Jake to the table. This is the same alien that Jake once wounded, but Colonel Dollarhide manages to help Jake, and together they deal with this creature. The ship begins to collapse. Everyone runs away from it. It becomes clear the aliens are scared, which means the ship begins to take off. Having managed to run outside, Jake and Dollarhide look after the taking off ship. The question in their minds is, did Ella make it to the center of the ship? But the ship takes off into the air and flies away. But, having risen to a small height, suddenly an explosion occurs, which means that Ella was in time. There is despair in Jake's eyes. He has again lost a person dear to his heart. People rejoice with joy that they have won, and a golden cloud flies from the sky. The explosion scattered gold from the ship, which the aliens managed to extract from the ground. Immediately, everyone begins to approach their relatives who were freed. They have poor memory, but in general, everyone is healthy and begins to remember a little who they are and what happened. There is a holiday in the town. The aliens are defeated. People are saved. Bandits are drinking in a bar along with ordinary people. Dollarhide is rebuilding his business with the help of gold from the ship, while taking his already rehabilitated son as a share. And the sheriff promised Jake that they will stop looking for him. So how the sheriff saw exactly how Jake was killed by an alien on the battlefield. Dollarhide shakes Jake's hand goodbye, and Jake gallops out of town towards a new life. If you like this film, like and subscribe to the channel. There is still a lot of interesting things to come.